if you have slightly less bandwidth, it may not be that clear. Okay. Now, the second thing on technique is the technical architecture. Technical architecture is how my programs will be sitting in what kind of a hardware, in what kind of a software, where will it sit. For example, let me open Task Manager. This is a laptop. In this laptop, there are a lot of softwares running. Same way, in server also, you will have a lot of software running. So if you see, lot of software processes are running. But everything is consuming memory and CPU to some extent. If you see here, WinWord is taking the maximum amount of CPU. Next is the GoToMeeting, right? In GoToMeeting alone, you say G2M, G2M.host.exe, recorder, GUI, explore.exe, G2M feedback. There are so many processes running. Okay, it is not just one program that runs. There are lot of multiple programs that run, right? So how are you going to look at? First thing is the physical architecture. Okay, the physical architecture is, that's what we are going to see. Later, the software architecture and the breaking up to software pieces, that we will take it to tomorrow's class. The next topic that we are going to see today is technical architecture. Now, if you take a system, for example, this is a, assume that this is a PC. Okay, let us take the way internet is connected here. Okay, you and I talk. How are we talking to each other? How do you see my screen and how do you hear my voice? Okay, this is your PC, right? This is your PC. From this PC, you are connecting to internet. Okay, this is internet. I would say net. You are connecting to net. Now, somewhere there is a GoToMeeting. You are connecting to net. Same way, I am connecting to net. Okay, I'd say my PC. I am also connected to net. Both of us are connected to net. How come my information comes to you and your information comes to me? Right? The way current architecture of GoToWebinar in terms of the technology, this is connected to net. Now, there is something called a web server. Okay, there is a web server. They have web server. This web server is connected to this. Anyway, both of us are connecting to GoToWebinar web server. But this web server is not doing all the job. This web server may be a single machine or it may be multiple machines, right? But it is not doing all the job. Now what he does is he has got three components. Okay, internally three different servers. Okay, there are three different servers that do, number one, video sharing. The second part is audio sharing, right? Then the third part is text sharing, right? So all these are connected to this web server. Now, all these are using the database also. Okay, if you go to this, everyone is connecting to, for example, I'm connecting this. All these products are now connected to, all these services are connecting to the database, because the moment I give you the meeting ID, using that single meeting ID, my voice, my screen, my text, everything is transferred to you. So if you really look at this, it is not one single program that takes care of everything. Your PC is connected to net, that in terms talks to GoToMeeting webinar server. that in turn using web sharing, audio sharing, text sharing servers, all of them using the database. Then through that responses do come, and then they are going back and forth between your PC and my PC. This is how the servers are organized. Now the question is, in our product, are we going to use different servers? How am I going to do that? Now, in OpenMentor, what we are planning, okay? Same way like I can just do a cut and paste, okay? Let me try to do a cut and paste of the whole stuff. Copy, paste. Now, instead of this video sharing, I'm going to say admin server. For administrative purposes, I'm going to have a separate server as a machine. For job seekers, I'm going to have a separate server. For employers, I'm going to have separate server. Okay. That means I have got 4 machines: web server, administrator server, job seeker server, employer server, and then a database server. So instead of having all the processes in a single machine, we are going to have in 5 different machines. The reason is we are having more than 50,000 users using it. The moment we put job portal, it may go to even 5 million, 10 million, we don't know. If I put all my data in one single server, it is not going to work, it will break. So we are going to divide the entire load on the system, right, towards multiple servers. Okay. So my hardware architecture, physical architecture, how I am going to put my machines is this way. Web server that is connected to internet, administrator or job seeker or employers, these are not connected to internet, only this machine is connected to internet. Then this is going to be the database. Now what I'm going to do is, even here also, right, even here also we will have a firewall. I may even have a firewall right here, okay, a single another stuff, okay. This is I'm going to have, say, this is firewall, okay. This layer is the firewall layer that we want to have, okay. A firewall is for a security purposes so that no hacking happens, okay. So the way it is going to be physically architectured is this way. Technically speaking, I can write a Java program for this, Java program for this, Java program for this, but I can put everything in a single machine and run, right? But the way we want to finally do it is this way. So from the functional architecture, I am taking for each functional module, I am putting separate servers because I'm thinking it may have lot of over things. Suppose I feel tomorrow, instead of having a separate machine for employers, I may say, let us not have 2 servers, one for employer, one for admin. I can say admin server, employer server. Put both of them in a single machine. For job seekers alone, put a separate machine. Either way, it is up to you. So first decide on that as well, how you are going to finally deploy them. Have the hardware architecture also in front of you. The moment you draw this functional architecture and physical or technical architecture, breaking this into what all the programs that it is going to have. Again, to say within this server what programs will run, okay. I would say, you can say GoToMeeting as having a lot of products or programs .exe files running. Same way, we can have so many other services running within our own job seeker module or employer module. The next level architecture will be within this server, take this machine alone. Within this machine, what programs will run, right? If you are able to break that, are you going to write one separate program for login, one separate program for registration, or you are going to put both of them in a single class file and then access? How you are going to do will follow next. Today, just in the last 45 minutes, what we have seen is that understand the application first. Okay, understand the application first. Second thing, break it down to modules, draw block diagram as functional architecture, then take them to the physical architecture or the technical architecture. This is what we have seen today. And we have taken a live example of OpenMentor that is going to be the coming release in the immediate future. Is this clear to you all? Can you please raise the hands? If you have any questions, post. I am open to the questions for the next 10 minutes. So this is one logical area. So today we have seen these three areas. Understand the specs, get clarified. Number two, draw functional flow block diagram. Then write technical architecture or physical architecture. Any doubts? You can shoot your doubts now. I would like to answer if any. Okay. Someone has asked, do we have to always use different servers for different modules? It's up to you. In our case, we foresee there may be so many users, right? There can be, even if you have million users attacking, right? India has got almost every year, I could see minimum 2 lakh jobs to 3 lakh jobs are created, or maybe you can say you include public sector, private sector, everything. At least 5 lakh jobs are getting done, right? So that means 500,000. For that 5 lakh jobs, 10 times more than that are applying, right? That means 50 lakh people are applying. So you cannot have all those data in a single machine. So better to divide that. Okay. So in the technical architecture, simply we are saying what all the connectivity and servers you are going to use and which server is designated for what module functionality, right? As simple as that, right? Any other question? Okay, one other person has asked, what is a firewall? See, firewall is a security software. If my server is connected to internet, there are so many hackers who can get access to my machine, right? So to prevent that, there are a lot of configuration, unwanted hacks, pings, ping methods, right? If they happen, this firewall can block, so that you don't allow unwanted, unsolicited attacks to your server. That is a firewall software. Okay. Someone has asked, do we have to mention OS also here? Right now, you can mention, definitely. You can say, this may be a Linux machine, this may be a Unix box, or this whole thing may be in IBM mainframe, and this can be Microsoft Internet IaaS, right? So you can always have different OS combination. Different machines may be running in different kind of server OS. Different servers may use different OS, different patches or service packs within the OS, right? So you can mention the OS. It's up to you. Someone has asked, what is the difference between web server and application server? See, end of the day, this is also a machine. This is also a machine. A web server is a software, okay? An application server is also another software. A web server will simply get HTTPS request, receive them, send it to the appropriate Java program or .NET program, and then get the response, send it back, okay? That is the duty of a web server. So web server always acts as a postman. Whereas application server is the one that actually implements the logic. And application server has got a lot of features like pretty much like web server has. Get the request, send it to the right process, get the response, pass it back to the sender. Same way application server get the request, process the request, do something to the database, or apply business rules, send the response back, right? So typically, if you take Beans, EJB, and then Microsoft Complex, and then these are all called application servers where your business logic is actually executed. Someone has asked, can we have firewall on both PC side as well as the server side? Yes, you can. There are something like centralized firewalls, server firewalls, there is something like personal firewalls. So you can have, essentially firewall prevents somebody accessing your system, right? So if you want to protect your PC also, you can have personal firewall on your PC. Some operating system already have got built-in firewalls. There is a question, do we need separate database server also? Preferably, because database always used to consume a lot of space, CPU and memory. If your application server and database are put together, there may be a chance that it may choke. So you can, most of the times database server is always separate. Okay. Someone has asked, where does the Java program come? Will it come under web server? Will it come under over here? We will come to that in the subsequent class, right? That's what exactly where the programs are going to sit. How do we demarcate, right? That is what we are going to see in the software architecture tomorrow. Then we will go to the further design aspects as well. Okay. Any other question? Good. Now, having got this information, I would like you guys to do practice as well, because one is understanding the part, second is practicing that part. You take any system, maybe travel sites, right? Then you can always take some reservation site, or you can take some retail stores product. Try to do a functional architecture and technical architecture, right? Right. Someone has asked, technical architecture and software architecture, are they one and the same? See here, now we are talking about the physical technical architecture. When I say the technology can be in terms of hardware as well as software. Now this is a physical architecture. How these programs are going to be in which server. Software architecture is going to be something slightly different, right? Still, a software architecture will always finally fit into the physical architecture. Okay, somewhere the software, if I design a software, half of my admin programs cannot sit here. If I say my admin service sits in this box, all my admin related programs must be residing in this box or the machine. So I cannot have part of it here, part of it here. But within this admin service or job seeker service itself, I can have so many other software programs running. So that is called the actual software architecture. Any other questions for the day? Good. So take a practice. Take some well-known systems, maybe a banking system, right? And try to at least draw a few diagrams. That is always important. Most of the times, people always think, oh, now I know what is functional architecture. It is not what you know. Whether you are able to do that job, that is more important. I always know if there is a over-pitched ball in cricket, I have to just loft it, right? Send it over the fence. It is a theory. But if Stein is bowling and he is bowling an over-pitched delivery to me on the offside, am I in a position to lift the ball over the fence? That is the skill, right? What you now got is the knowledge. But only when you practice, that knowledge will get converted to a skill, right? So try to do some practice on this so that you can convert this knowledge to a skill, and doing it again and again will make perfection. Okay, so please practice on this functional architecture and technical architecture. Again, we don't have to go very deep into the basic definition of architecture or design. Its only thing is break down the system to the final level. Some companies call it as, okay, I don't call it as an architecture. To me, architecture is something different. But in plain, simple terms, anything can be represented as a block diagram. But only in the block diagram, instead of putting all rectangles, you are putting different shapes. That's all. So that it becomes more meaningful when somebody sees that information rather than reading a whole lot of text. Good. Let us stop here. We will try to continue tomorrow on the software part of it. Tomorrow we will go slightly deeper into that in terms of classes, data, activities or methods, a slightly deep dive into the design part of it. I hope you enjoyed. We have started putting a lot of recorded webinars also. You can see course demos